With the boom of fitness trackers or monitors on the market, we might wonder if any of them are even accurate. Researchers have already found that certain smartphone apps and fitness trackers are more accurate than others at both 500 steps and 1500 steps. The hip-worn Fitbit devices were quite good, as was the classic old-school DigiWalker SW200 pedometer. The best wrist-worn monitor was the Jawbone Up 24. Well, we now have an update. A recent study put 10 of the most popular fitness trackers to the test, determining which one of these 10 were more accurate in measuring steps compared to a manual count of steps while on a treadmill at various speeds, walking over ground, and while being measured for 24 hours. The Fitbit Zip, Withings Pulse, and Jawbone Up were the most accurate within 5% of the actual mean number of steps, which is within the standard for permissible error. The Basis B1, Garmin VivoFit, and SenseWear armband were next within 10% of the actual mean number of steps. Missing this 10% mark of accuracy, underestimating around 30 to 80 steps, were the Fitbit Flex, Misfit Shine, Polar Loop, and Nike Fuel Band. You might notice that the trend for these trackers to underestimate the number of steps that people actually get. One possible explanation is that the hip-worn monitors tend to be better than those worn on the wrist, with the exception of the Jawbone Up. Yet the majority of these monitors had improved accuracy as the speeds got faster on the treadmill. A possible explanation is illustrated here. When we walk slowly, most people do not really swing their arms, so the wrist-worn monitors might not pick up all the steps, thus underestimating. But as we walk faster or run, we tend to be more consistent with our arm swing, allowing the wrist monitors to pick up the steps. This is good to remember if you are a slow walker and have wrist-worn monitors, so be sure to pump those arms. One final note is that the mean absolute percentage error values across the monitors were around 8%, 10%, and 18% for the treadmill, overground, and 24-hour free living conditions, respectively. In other words, the monitors did best when estimating steps on a treadmill or over ground, and worst when estimating steps over 24 hours, as shown here. So if you do want to use a pedometer to measure your daily steps, not just when you are physically active, then use a hip-worn monitor, which are much more accurate.